The smell of dust and ethanol is how I remember her. Even before Priya turned, I knew her by the tilt of her head, still decisive, still infuriatingly calm. The Oxford Archaeology Lab hasn't changed in years. The same buzzing halogens, the same thin blue gloves, the same quiet war between truth and funding. "Dr. Marlowe," she said when she saw me, tone professional, eyes anything but. "Dr. Nandini," I replied, the name catching like grit in my mouth. Our reunion had been arranged by the department, a symbolic reconciliation. Two women once celebrated for discovering fragments of the same Neolithic goddess, now tasked to co-lead a follow-up dig. It was meant to be collaborative. It felt like a duel. That morning, when we unearthed the relic, an obsidian pendant carved with female iconography older than any known matriarchal record, I almost forgot we'd broken each other once. Priya's hand brushed mine as we lifted it from the soil, and for a half second, the past thawed. The board demanded immediate verification. Funding was precarious, rival departments were circling. If we could carbon date it by midnight, we could file the paper before the embargo lifted and claim the find. But when I returned after hours to check the isotopic results, the printer spat out something wrong. Clue A. Forged carbon dating slip. Priya's initials, her code, but the carbon ratio didn't match the sample. Someone had altered the data. The hum of the freezers deepened. A shadow flickered against the frosted glass door. Hers, maybe, or Gilt's. I folded the slip into my pocket, my throat dry with something between fear and longing. For the first time in years, I was afraid of her. I told myself it wasn't about mistrust. It was about evidence. But even lies need fingerprints, and Priya always left them where truth hurt most. The sample vault was colder than I remembered, smelling of stone dust and disinfectant. I slipped inside past midnight, lab lights bleaching the color from everything. The soft clock ticked louder. Last sweep in 3 hours before dawn peer review. The cabinet required Priya's biometric scan. My passcode wasn't enough. Obstacle 1. I pried the panel open with a scalpel, static crawling across my skin. "You never did have patience for protocol," came her voice. Her reflection ghosted in the steel door, hair unpinned, jaw tight. She looked tired in that beautiful way that breaks you. We argued in whispers, then not so whispers. She said the first test was lost in transit. I showed her clue C, the misfiled courier slip. Proof a sample was sent to a private lab, not lost. She said the dean ordered it, that she was only trying to protect the project. Protect? I spat. Or control the story. She moved closer until I could feel her breath. Her palm slid over mine, warm, steady. She pressed her thumb, unlocking the cabinet. Inside, rows of labeled vials, one missing. "They destroyed it," she said softly, "after the verification." Silence. Only the hum of fans. I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered, "We've got 23 minutes to decide who we are." She shut the vault door behind us. The lock clicked. a soft, final sound. The lights flickered once, plunging us into half-darkness, the sound of our breathing louder than truth. By dawn, the whole department was buzzing. Word had leaked. Someone questioned our data integrity. The review board convened an emergency meeting. The oak-paneled conference room smelled of coffee and ambition. Priya sat at one end of the table, immaculate in a navy blazer. I stood at the other, heart pounding beneath the same shirt I'd worn all night. Between us, the dean, our former mentor, smiled the way a man does when he knows both sides owe him something. He presented the forged results, waving them like scripture. Without proper verification, we risk embarrassment on an international scale. Priya's knuckles whitened under the table. I noticed clue D, a faint fingerprint smudge on the dean's copy of the carbon slip, right over the isotopic data. He'd handled the file himself. Proof, almost, but in this room, power outweighed proof. Then I saw clue B, the ink-smudged note half tucked in Priya's folder. I'm sorry, I couldn't fix it. My stomach turned. It looked like a confession. A red herring, though I didn't know it yet. The dean leaned forward. You'll retract, of course, quietly. Priya's eyes met mine, a silent plea. Then, in one swift motion, she replaced the forged slip on the table with the real one she'd hidden in her notes. Her voice trembled but held. No, the truth deserves air. He smirked, then breathed it alone. You're finished here. The meeting dissolved into murmurs, the room spinning with betrayal and fluorescent light. As I left, Priya brushed my arm, just once, an accidental touch that said thank you and I'm sorry all at once. Outside, the city was waking up. I realized I was trembling not from fear, but from the weight of loving someone I couldn't defend without destroying myself. By the time I reached the lab again, the sun was bleeding pale through the windows. My reflection in the console looked older, haunted by the choices we'd made. I opened the raw dataset. The cursor blinked like a metronome. I uploaded everything, the untouched readings, the real isotope ratios, the correspondence, the fingerprints. Then I hit send. A single keystroke, but it echoed like a tectonic shift. The file went live on the open access archive. Fraud could no longer be buried. And neither could we. The door slammed open. Priya stood there, eyes wild. You just destroyed my career. No, I said quietly. Our silence would have. For a heartbeat, she looked at me like she used to, before politics, before fear. Then she walked out, slow and deliberate, heels echoing on the tiles like a closing argument. The paper went viral by afternoon, under my account. The media called it a historic act of academic courage. They didn't know it was born of heartbreak. In the acknowledgments, I credited Priya as co-author. The board suspended her anyway. Weeks later, I found a small parcel on my desk. Inside, wrapped in linen, was a fragment of obsidian, the same goddess shard we'd excavated. No note, just the faint scent of sandalwood and dust. I realized then that the ink-smudged note I'd found, the red herring, wasn't guilt at all. It was her attempt to restore the corrupted data, to make truth readable again. She hadn't betrayed me. She tried to save us both. The mutual cost settled like sediment. She lost her post, I lost my standing, but the record stood clean. Sometimes, late at night, I walk past a sealed motte. The hum of the fans still sounds like breath. In my dreams, Priya's hands are dusted with limestone again, her laugh echoing off the dig walls. And for a moment, the ruins are whole. The final image, the obsidian shard catching light on my desk. Black, sharp, and unbreakably honest.